Welcome to the May 17th, 2021 regular business board meeting of the Lower Merion Board of School Directors. Due to COVID restrictions, this meeting is being held in the Lower Merion High School auditorium. As we move towards the end of the 2020-2021 school year, I would like to remind everyone that our 8 p.m. regular business board meetings continue through the summer months and will be held in person. The board believes it's in the best interest and the best interest of the students of the district to hear comments from district residents. An opportunity will be given for public comment in person and through the chat feature, which will be read by our solicitor. This meeting is being video recorded with sound for public broadcast. All participants joining via Zoom will be muted upon entry. Before I turn the meeting over to Mr. Copeland for the 25-year recognition, I'd like to share that the chat feature will be open while the video is being played. To anyone who would like to submit a question or comment regarding tonight's agenda or any other topic. Mr. Copeland.
Thank you, Ms. Klein. Before I speak about the 25-year groups, just let me give a summary of where we are with some health and safety issues. First of all, at Friday's vaccine clinic, we had close to 900 students who were vaccinated, and we give great thanks to our volunteers and the volunteers amongst the staff and administration who gave up their time to make sure that the students had those vaccines. Also, as you may know, on Thursday, the CDC came out with new guidance. That guidance has caused some questions to be raised throughout not only schools, but governments, businesses, and so forth. The afternoon that the guidance came out, our Health and Safety Committee, whose members include our health services staff, our teacher staff, administrators, psychologists, and they have been meeting all throughout the pandemic every Tuesday. They had an impromptu meeting on Thursday. Their recommendation to me was, until this all gets sort of settled out, that we stay the course, continue in the direction that we're going in, monitor the situation regularly. In fact, that group will have its regular Tuesday morning meeting tomorrow. They did recommend, and I accepted their recommendation, that athletics could follow the state rules which allow athletes, while competing, to not wear masks, but not on sidelines and so forth and so on. So just to reiterate, we want to stay the course as this process sees itself through. We've done real well so far. Now, tonight, we come together to honor a group of employees where professional excellence, spirited loyalty, and an unyielding dedication to the interests of children are characterized that define them as Lower Merion School District staff. We have prepared a small video to honor those who have been with us for 25 years, and then we want to celebrate their outstanding contributions to public education in Lower Merion. And as President Klein says, while the video is going on, the chat feature will be open for public comment. So with that,
the Lower Merion Board of School Directors is pleased to honor employees who have served our district for 25 years. Keith Andrews is a 4th grade teacher at Belmont Hills Elementary who says he's grateful to work in a community that values and supports innovation and provides the resources necessary to give all students a top-notch education.
When I think about Keith Andrews, I think about the incredible connections he makes with his students. He creates this warm, inviting classroom where students can take risks and reach their goals. Keith is also a trusted friend and advocate around Belmont Hills that always takes things in stride. On behalf of the entire Belmont Hills school community, congratulations on 25 amazing years in Lower Merion, Keith.
Kinwood Elementary has 2 25-year honorees. Art teacher Wendy Kimmel, who's on sabbatical this year, and 2nd grade teacher Martha Samuelowitz-Dorley.
Hi, I'm Dan Martino from Kimmel Elementary School. I'm here to honor Martha Sam Dorley. Ode to Martha. It was almost 29 years ago when a Nova grad barely long in her tooth took the first step in a wonderful journey of molding and shaping our youth. She did take some time through the years to build a family to love and enjoy. Her husband, Brendan, Abigail, Madeline, and Peter, her only boy. She is constantly in motion throughout the day. Popcorn and M&Ms are her snack for a boost. Watching over a team and family as well, like a mother hen taking care of her roost. At home, Martha is someone who likes her place clean, a vacuum affixed to her hand. Flip-flops are definite footwear of choice and have her toes buried deep in the sand. Happy 25 years to Martha today. Your heart is as big as your smile. It may seem long, but for all that you give, we hope you'll be around for a while. Congratulations, Martha.
Gladwin Elementary also boasts two 25-year honorees. First up is second grade teacher Elena Carlson, who says her favorite parts of the job are the children and her second grade teammates.
Elena has relentless dedication to all her students. To others, she displays a seemingly effortless talent to push students to excel while supporting students who struggle. She is a continuous learner to learn the latest techniques to support her students. She has a gift of bringing wonder into her classroom through an appreciation of nature. When you walk into her classroom, you immediately feel the Gladwin way, with students respecting themselves, respecting others, and respecting their environment. Makes sense since Elena went to Gladwin Elementary as a student. Congratulations on 25 years, Elena.
Also from Gladwin is Pamela Vidal, an instructional aide who's supporting Lmsb at home this year.
If you ask any students of the classroom that Pam Vidal has supported, they will tell you about her love of reading. She would share authors and books with children to spark their love of reading. In addition, Pam brings a unique talent to the students she supports with her ability to read and type Braille. Students were always fascinated when Mrs. Vidal pointed out where the Braille letters were posted around the school for the children to feel. This inadvertently showed other students in the classroom that one classmate's challenge could be seen as a talent. Congratulations, Pam, on 25 years.
Kristen Gailey is also an Lmsb at home instructional aide who has worked at both Belmont Hills and Penn Valley. She says she loves working with all of the wonderful students and staff.
Congratulations, Kirsten. Kirsten comes to Belmont Hills every day with a smile on her face and ready to assist in any way possible. We've missed her tremendously this year. She is incredibly reliable and flexible. Her patience and support has helped countless students feel successful in the classroom. On behalf of the entire Belmont Hills school community, congratulations on 25 incredible years, Kirsten.
The 25-year honoree from Marion Elementary School is first grade teacher Jacqueline Gaines, who has also taught special education. She says she wouldn't change a thing about her 25 years in Lmsb because she loves working with her colleagues and watching her students grow.
Just wanted to bring recognition to an incredible teacher, Jackie Gaines. Congratulations on 25 awesome years. It's a pleasure, and I've seen quickly in a short time how awesome you are with kids. Congratulations. Keep up the good work.
Lauren Friel is a reading specialist who has also taught first, third, and fourth grades at Gladwin, Kinwood, and Penn Valley, and who has coached volleyball at Harriton and basketball at LM.
Congratulations, Lauren Friel. 25 years in Lower Marion. Quite an accomplishment. So, Lauren, I appreciate how much you do at the building level, serving as a reading support teacher, how dedicated you are to making sure that the students are learning how to read and improving in reading every day. Continue striving to be the best that you possibly can be. I look forward to another 25 years working with you here in Lower Marion. Congratulations, Lauren. Way to go.
Gifted support teacher Joseph Mudd is known for his many environmental initiatives at the school, including numerous tree planting projects.
Congratulations, Joe. 25 years. Going strong. I know that everybody knows that Joe Mudd serves as a gifted support teacher for Penn Valley, but I also want to highlight two other areas that Joe helps us out with tremendously. Joe is very involved with LMEA. He's a trusted LMEA rep by the staff and has been for years. I also want to thank Joe for his continued work in promoting racial equity and cultural competence at Penn Valley. Thanks, Joe, and congratulations on 25 years.
At Penn-Wynne Elementary, fifth grade teacher Paul Udovich is marking his 25th year, and he says the best part of his job is making the children laugh.
On behalf of the entire Penn-Wynne faculty and staff, we would like to congratulate Mr. Paul Udovich, aka Mr. U, on his 25 years of dedicated service to the children and families of Penn-Wynne Elementary. Congrats, Mr. U.
Welsh Valley Middle School has a remarkable 6 staff members who are all celebrating 25 years in our district. They are Executive Secretary Marianne Fusaro, 6th grade teacher Nancy Gayer O'Neill, 8th grade math teacher John Petoniak, who also teaches in the SPIES program along with having coached basketball and ice hockey and served as advisor for the Student Council in GSA. Welsh Valley also honors health and phys ed teacher Jonathan Kagan, who's coached football at Welsh Valley and Harriton, lacrosse at Welsh Valley and BC, and baseball at LM. Finally, there's clerical aide Kim Marie Petty and literacy specialist Marianne Smith Wood, who says the best part of her job is the people she works with every day.
It's my pleasure to offer a really special, heartfelt thank you on behalf of the Welsh Valley students, staff, and families to Marianne, John, Nancy, and Kim. Thank you so much for 25 years of awesome, dedicated service. In the past 25 years, you've modeled what it really means to enter to learn and go forth to serve. Each of you have contributed in really unique and special ways to the Welsh Valley community. And for that, we thank you. Thank you so much.
Each of our high schools honors one 25-year staff member. For Harriton, it's social studies teacher and department chair Paul McKenna, who has also taught special education at Harriton and BC.
Dr. McKenna is the chair of the social studies department, and he embodies all the values that we have at Harriton. There's so much that we can say about him, but I thought instead of me sharing all of that, I'm going to bring his 2 closest department chair colleagues, Dan Powers of the science department and Peter Murray of the Unified Arts department. Mr. Powers?
Paul, always been the minstrel of social studies, always fired up and fighting for equity and access for all students. 25 years went by too fast. We want 25 more, all right?
Paul, congratulations on 25 years of teaching. I always think about what makes a great teacher. You embody it. You work really hard at your craft, and most importantly, you love kids. Paul, you're the GOAT.
Dr. McKenna, there's so much more we can say about you. We'll save that to your retirement.
At Lower Merion High School, another social studies teacher, Eric Lynn, is the honoree.
Congrats to my colleague and friend, Eric Lynn, on your 25 years of service to the Lower Merion School District, specifically to Lower Merion High School. Eric, you're one of the most dedicated individuals I've ever worked with. I remember actually when you even mentored me as a new social studies teacher to this district 20 plus years ago. You're a true asset to our school. As a teacher, you've taught so many kids to think out of the box. You've taught them to be passionate about education. What more could students ask for? So Eric, we thank you for your years of service to Lower Merion High School, to the students, to the faculty, and to this community. Congratulations.
Finally, our transportation department is pleased to honor bus driver Sharon Watson. She says that driving the same route for so many years has enabled her to watch the students blossom, from nervous kindergartners or first graders into youthful and at times entertaining young adults. To all of our honorees, on behalf of the board, the administration, the students and their families, congratulations. We are grateful for your service.
Before we go to public comments, I also want to take note of our ISC mini grants. The ISC received 41 grant applications for the 2021-22 school year. 2020-21 school year, requesting $22,660. I'm sorry, that's for next year, that's right. The funding came from each of the 10 schools, and a total of 29 grants received funding. The ISC will be notifying the recipients after tonight's meeting, but we are pleased and grateful for the following grants that have been awarded. Out of the 23 applications, 14 grants were funded at the elementary level, 9 applications were submitted at the middle school level with 7 grants funded, and 9 applications were also submitted at the high school level with 8 grants funded. The total grant funding for 2021-2022 is $13,398, with award amounts ranging from $60 to a maximum award of $999. Thank you on behalf of the board and administration to the ISC, whose hard work and dedication throughout the school year is greatly appreciated.
Thank you, Mr. Copeland. Next on our agenda, we'll have the committee meeting reports. But first, I do want to also thank the ISC, especially the mini grant program. It's near and dear to my heart as a former chair of the program, and it really provides a wonderful opportunity for our teachers and staff to try new ideas and new things within their classrooms. So I really appreciate the hard work that goes into that program. So, Ms. Robinson, can you please do the finance and budget review reports for April 21st, 28th, and May 12th?
Yes, thank you. I'm going to abridge and combine some of these notes because I have 6 pages of notes. But all 3 meetings took place over Zoom. They are all recorded so that anyone who would like to see them again can go to lmsd.org and look up videos. During the meeting of April 21st, we had a review of the Student Services Department budget, which includes health services, clinical services, counseling services, and special education, including gifted. We began with a deeper look at, it comprises about $66 million of the budget and services approximately 40% of the student body, 16% having IEPs, 14% having GIEPs, and 10% having 504 plans. We began with a deeper look at the health services portion of the budget. Of the $4.7 million budget of health services, about $800,000 will be used to provide health services to non-public school students. Key influencers of the health services budget include Department of Health mandates, requirements from the Pennsylvania School Code, required services for students with disabilities, and services to non-public school students within the district. Clinical services includes a team of school psychologists, social workers, and mental health counselors to help with crisis intervention support, and makes up approximately $2.7 million of the budget. The district has a responsibility through Child Find to identify, locate, and evaluate all children with disabilities through the age of 21 within the district, and must also reevaluate students with disabilities minimally every 3 years. Key influencers of the clinical services budget include a highly qualified staff, federal and state mandates, including Child Find and universal screening for gifted students. The counseling services department comprises about 5.4% of the budget, which includes a $155,000 increase from the prior year due to COVID and its impact on students. Gifted education is provided for in the Pennsylvania School Code, Chapter 16, and requires the district to provide services and programs to provide for the identification, evaluation, and education of each and every gifted student. No funding is provided by the state for the gifted education, although it is budgeted to cost approximately $4.3 million to Lmsd in the 2021-22 school year. Special education is the largest area of the student services budget and makes up approximately $46 million of the budget. Ms. Frazier announced that the Lower Merion School District was awarded the Caring School District of the Year for its inclusivity and special focus on meeting all the needs of students who require specialized services. Key influencers of the budget include federal and state mandates for special education, individualized IEP needs, newly enrolled students, costs for contracted services and outside placements, including charter schools, and the fact that special education continues to be an unfunded mandate, meaning that expenses necessary to meet students' needs far exceed federal and state subsidies. The Student Services Department does participate in obtaining grant funding for specialized services of students. We move on to the Finance Committee meeting of April 28th, where we had a discussion of the staffing and IT budgets. Salaries and benefits comprise approximately 76% of the entire budget of Lower Merion School District, or approximately $140 million for salaries and $87 million for benefits. Staffing is largely formula and need-driven, such as, for example, class size guidelines, special education staffing, and gifted staffing are based on class size guidelines and caseload guidelines. Custodial and maintenance personnel are based on square footage, usage, and systems analysis, using industry standards. Bus drivers are hired based on routing needs, and instructional and behavioral aids are based on IEP requirements. Technology is based on devices deployed, number of users, and platforms utilized. LMSD must staff based on the students that are in our buildings and also those that are projected to be in our buildings in the next year. As many of you are aware, LMSD's student body has been growing for the last decade and is projected to continue to grow into the future. Each December, LMSD departments and schools are asked to submit a list of staffing requests. These requests are vetted through a rigorous review process. Ultimately, less than 40% of the staff originally requested become proposed in the budget. Professional personnel are based upon needs, enrollment, programming, and compliance. Then we took a deeper look at the Information Systems Department budget. The IS budget is approximately $5.6 million, with over $2.9 million assigned to instructional computers and to the one-on-one initiative. 10% of this is for elementary computing involving iPads in K through 1 and Chromebooks in 2 to 5. 45% of the money is also for middle school students involving Chromebooks for grades 6 through 7 and laptops beginning in grade 8. 38% is planned for high school devices, and the remaining 7% is for district-wide computing. In addition to supplying devices for students and staff, LMSD maintains a reserve for devices to accommodate enrollment increases. Also included in the budget are software and hardware maintenance, replacement equipment, security, and compliance. To keep up with the rising demand for services and repairs, the IS department attends external training and conducts internal training. The IS department maintains a 5-year obsolescence budget or obsolescence plan involving district-wide maintenance and enhancements of the network operated by LMSD. This plan, like the operations department 5-year plan, is discussed and amended each year at the Facilities and Purchasing Committee meeting of the board. We move on to the Finance Committee meeting of May 12th. During this meeting, we began with an overview of the curriculum and instruction. Lower Merion School District provides a student experience that goes beyond the curriculum and instruction budget, which has been further discussed during the prior 3 Finance Committee meetings that have been recorded. The budget for curriculum and instruction is approximately $1.9 million and goes on to include field trips, residencies, and various community partners. Shaping the curricular experience influences day-to-day thinking and empowers students and teachers, inspires and fosters innovation through curriculum, work, and professional development, drives hiring and impacts purchases and resource adoption, influences changes and adoption of policy and practice, and challenges the reimagination of what a K-8 experience looks like. Ongoing curricular priority goals for the upcoming school year and future include multi-tiered systems of support, equity and access for all students, the K-8 reimagination and development, cultural proficiency, effective instructional technology integration, and assessment literacy and data analysis to ensure student achievement. In addition to the annual review of material, the curriculum department reviews textbooks and material adoption on a 6-year basis. And Finally, we discussed the capital reserve fund and general fund committed fund balance. The capital improvement plan has been detailed out to approximately $5 million of building and plant maintenance projects. $2.5 million has been included under the bus replacement plan, and $750,000 has been set aside for the technology and the information system plan, which totals approximately $8.1 million of 2021-22 budget. Currently, the Capital Reserve Fund has a balance of $8.5 million. Estimated uses throughout the remainder of 2021 include $2.3 million of authorized expenditures. Thus, the $8 million or $8.1 million of 2021 to 22 will leave us with a deficit in the Capital Reserve Fund of approximately $1.9 million, which may be replenished by general fund balance surpluses from the year's budget. We will know more as the year ends and the audit begins of the 2021 fiscal year. Finally, we discussed the committed general fund balance at June 30th, 2021. Specifically, LMSD has a future PSERS obligation balance of $10.3 million and a future post-employment benefit balance of $5 million. By comparison, the committed fund balance of June 30th, 2020 was $20.8 million, which included $15.3 million for PSERS, $5 million for post-employment benefits, and $500 million for rate stabilization. I'm sorry, $500,000 for rate stabilization. The primary change is due to a setting aside of additional funds as assigned funds for litigation. That concluded my notes for the meetings, and for anyone interested in the budget and how it is impacted by the thoughtful and passionate plans of the administration, I encourage you to view the videos of the meetings located again at lmsd.org. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Ms. Robinson. I think it's worthwhile to reiterate your note that our goal and mission is to support and educate all of our students, no matter how large our enrollment grows, and that we are supportive of our special education students and staff. Next on our list is the May 5th Curriculum Committee meeting report, and I'll turn it over to Mr. Mooring.
Thank you. On May 5th, we met 8:30 a.m. via Zoom. At that meeting, we had went through textbook proposals. Shannon Davis and Allie Mellett proposed the AP Spanish and AP French textbooks. This month there are 3 textbook proposals, 2 AP, 1 economics. The 2 high schools are currently using 2 different resources, and currently neither have digital access. The goal here was to give students at both high schools using the same resource access to digital features and allow teachers to collaborate across buildings. And looking for resources, they wanted to find ones with wise cultural perspectives that will support the goal. 2 class sets of paper textbooks, themes for French in 6 years, and plus 6 years of digital access, a text and activity book. The cost of this would be $19,030. SAVS AP Spanish, preparing for language and cultural examination. And this provides a 3-year subscription to the digital access, 90 hard copies, and will give equitable access to the same resource for $8,299. Dr. Pratt then presented for the econ textbook, digital refresh for honors and college prep econ course. Previously they were using the 2003 edition of the textbook. There have been 9 different editions of this book with small tweaks. They had been using the higher ed book, which when there was a tweak, it requires a new edition and purchase. Now there's a K-12 version, which will allow for digital resources. In this purchase, we're looking at 40 books, a 6-year license that can serve 80 students. The licenses are reusable each semester for a total of $4,578.21. The book Sullivan and Sheffron, 2016 Econ, has diverse representation, positive depictions with diverse peoples and community. We then discussed the Writing Fellowship and Writing Center, which was established in 2016. In 2017, 2018, they created non-negotiables for the ways we want students to engage with writing, guaranteed writing experiences and guaranteed research experiences. The goal of the fellowship is to support writers to become stronger writers and grow leaders. Writing fellows are juniors and seniors who are recommended to apply and have demonstrated strong writing and are skillful, patient communicators. The Writing Center has grown from 2017 till now and is improving both kids who come in as well as tutors. Currently 32 tutors at Harriton High School and 63 at Lower Merion High School. The fellows get great experiences, trainings, access to writing workshops, and practicing writers. They're peer-led, and also they include peer-led writing workshops. The Writing Center is open during Lunch and Learn and is staffed by the fellows who engage in conversations around writing. The fellows also go to individual classrooms and see who needs help. They don't always wait for students to come to them. Teachers also ask the fellows to come at certain times of the year, especially during research papers, college essay writing, and this year they offered Zoom sessions. The last agenda item we discussed was the 5-8 transition plan. Admin looked at 4 scenarios through multiple lenses and ultimately chose to transition to a K-4 and 5-8 at all schools. This plan immediately addresses and alleviates the capacity issues in all 6 schools and allows for equity of activities, resources, and programs. Also has a cost savings. During the 2021-22, students will engage in community building activities with the students who will be a part of the new middle school to transition and get them excited for the new middle school. The strategic plan is being used as a North Star and guiding vision to develop the reimagined student experience. The mission of the 5-8 Middle School Committee includes building relationships, cultivating curiosity, and developing intellectual independence. Smaller learning communities allow students and teachers to know each other well and develop relationships, to grow and establish culture of the school with the kids moving into the new middle school right away. Also, staffing the building fully allows educators to grow as a learning community and to shape culture. Moving students all at once also allows students across all 3 middle schools and elementary schools to have consistency in programmatic experiences. It allows for space to collaborate and includes time to build the school day for all students to participate in clubs and activities. And lastly, daily blocks for enrichment, interventions, and well-being such as clubs and activities, mentoring and peer tutoring, and real-world learning and additional opportunity for extracurriculars. That concludes my report.
Thank you, Mr. Mooring. Next is the May 7th Policy Committee meeting update. Ms. Ackman.
Hi, the committee met on May 7th. We had a number of second readings which moved forward, including jury duty, which was repealed for updated policy, family and medical leaves of absence, sabbatical leaves, classroom occupational exchange, which was repealed, and a drug-free workplace. For first reading, we reviewed Policy 101, which is our equity policy, and we had a robust discussion about this, and there was a helpful list of terms included as part of the policy that we're still tweaking a bit, but our plan is to move this forward. This reflects a lot of the work through the ad hoc committee and the district's overall goals around anti-racism and equity. And I encourage everyone to go read it. This is kind of a exciting moment to be able to move this forward. We also had discussion about a number of other policies, including updating the terms for the transgender and gender diverse students, ensuring equity and non-discrimination policy, the Equal Opportunity Program for employment practices, transgender and gender diverse employees, ensuring equity and non-discrimination, the drug and alcohol testing of employees, yearly physical exams, pre-employment physical exams, required certificates, certifications and clearances, reporting arrests and convictions, and obligation to report driver's license suspension. So all of those will move to second readings, and we've added a meeting, I think the first week of June. Okay, thank you. Oh yeah, that's right there. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Ackman. Next is the May 12th Ad Hoc Committee for Equity and Anti-Racism. Mr. Mooring.
Thank you. On Wednesday, May 12th, the Ad Hoc Committee on Equity and Anti-Racism held an abbreviated meeting. The meeting was abbreviated to create space for the superintendent search firm to engage the Ad Hoc Committee community stakeholders to solicit their support, which as we look for a new superintendent. After a brief welcome and review of the proposed agenda, Megan Schaefer reviewed the updated equity policy that was presented at the policy committee and will be introduced for first reading at tonight's business meeting. The meeting was then turned over to the HYA Associate Search Firm to facilitate a community forum. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Mooring. And our last committee report is the May 13th Facilities and Purchasing meeting. I'll turn it over to Mr. Lee.
Thank you. Even though it's everyone's favorite committee meeting, I apologize in advance for the length. This is part of our annual renewal cycle, so it's unusually long. This is a report of the Facilities and Purchasing Committee meeting from May 13th at 8:30 a.m. The following items were reviewed and recommended for approval by the committee for presentation to the full board tonight. We recommended the list of district bills for approval. We recommended the following items from the purchasing report for approval. $9,792 for elevator maintenance and inspections by Tri-State Elevator Company. $14,080.25 for kitchen and fire extinguisher inspections and service, and $18,775 for inspections of district-wide sprinkler systems, both by Kistler O'Brien. $57,765 from Starlight to replace the sound and PA system at Arnold Field. The updated sound system is expected to reduce sound bleed into the neighborhood. $139,500 to restore the historic masonry facade at Penwyn Elementary. A cooperative purchasing bid by MCIU for office paper at $21.90 per carton for an estimated 3,000 cartons for the 21-22 school year. We recommended the following district contracts for approval. A renewal with Beata Home Healthcare for substitute nurses at $51.25 per hour. A renewal with Leader Services for IEP Writer and Children Count software for $33,840. A 3-year renewal with IXL Learning for IXL Math software at a total cost of $62,100 over 3 years. A contract with Vista Higher Learning AP French Resources for new AP French course resources at $19,030.11. A contract with the previously mentioned Savas AP Spanish Resources for AP Spanish course materials at $8,299.25. Renewals for the following contracts. The Impact Center for Resources and Services related to the Global Citizenship course for a not to exceed amount of $8,400. Newsella for daily updated nonfiction content for scaled at reading levels for grades 2 to 12 at $113,560. No red ink writing curriculum for $31,875. Learning Without Tears for the Keyboarding Without Tears program for $9,496. Nearpod interactive presentation software for $20,000. ProQuest for access to their library of research content for $50,095.16. Mackin Educational Resources for software to manage digital resources for $8,250. Questar for their DRP reading assessment for $24,517.50. Turnitin for originality checking software for writing assignments in secondary schools for $20,945.64. Seesaw software that helps students manage an online portfolio of their work for $24,007.50. Edmentum Study Island for software to help teachers reinforce specific content and concepts for $11,192.64. Pioneer Valley Literacy Footprints Digital Reader for online leveled reading materials for $18,400. 101 Edu Inc. Chem 101 for chemistry homework and problem sets for $10,125. Savas Words Their Way for online K-5 phonics, spelling, and vocabulary workbooks for $75,648. Orbit Software for their Bus Boss bus routing software for $8,015. Accordware for software for benefits management at a rate of $4,150 per month. OIG for background check services for $2,500. Frontline Education for substitute management and staff attendance software for $50,549.45. Tools Forever for user account management software for $8,340. Acronis Files Connect software to allow Mac and PC computers to share files for $7,783.05. Remind software, which enables privacy-protected communications between district staff / coaches and families for $29,436.75. 3 renewals with PowerSchool software, $49,938 for Student Information System, $28,769.34 for the PowerSchool enrollment software, formerly known as InfoSnap, $16,269 for software support services. Multiple contracts with i2 Security Solutions for security card reader equipment and installations at various district locations for a grand total of $138,154. Acceptance of PDE approval for the PlanCon Part K form submitted as part of the refunding and refinancing of previously issued bonds related to the construction of the 2 high schools. We recommended the following work orders for approval. 2 work orders for Chester Valley Engineers, a not to exceed amount of $70,000 for engineering and planning work related to the new middle school fields, a not to exceed amount of $60,000 for planning and design work related to the parking lot project at Penwyn Elementary. A work order for David Blackmore and Associates for a not to exceed amount of $20,000 for infiltration and stormwater management testing related to the parking lot project at Penwyn Elementary. We recommended for approval a 6-month renewal at a cost of $2,900 with Presentation BVM Church for the leasing of auxiliary parking spaces until the parking lot project at Penwyn Elementary is completed. We recommended for approval of a proposal from Borough Construction for a not to exceed amount of $259,097.93 related to design modifications of electrical and technology wiring at the new middle school. The finalized change order will be executed by the administration at less than or equal to the not to exceed amount. We recommended for approval a second amendment to the agreement with Reynolds Construction to add project management services to support the roof, parking lot, and bleacher restoration capital projects planned for this summer. The total not to exceed amount of the agreement will increase from $67,640 to a not to exceed amount of $125,286. We recommended for approval by the board pre-authorization to enable the superintendent or his designee the ability to approve change orders related to the 12 summer facilities projects for an aggregate not to exceed amount of $100,000 to help ensure summer projects can complete without waiting for a fall school board meeting. We recommended for approval an agreement with Beaumont at Bryn Mawr to allow Beaumont the temporary use of 30 parking spots at Harriton High School this summer to support during construction on their site. We recommended for approval the following change orders related to the new middle school. A decrease of $41,000 with JBM Mechanical for the transition of non-potable piping to the PEX system. An increase of $51,352 with JBM Mechanical for the installation of bipolar ionization air cleaners and the construction of an isolation room in the nurses' suite. $51,270.38 with Vision Mechanical for changes related to roof drain plumbing design updates inside the school. $17,056 also with Vision Mechanical for work related to the isolation room in the nurses' suite. $145,072.11 with IMC Construction for the installation of sod on the multi-purpose and half-practice fields to enable the field to be used sooner than if it were seeded. $48,144.32 with IMC Construction for the installation of an irrigation system to support the establishment of the sod to be installed on the multi-purpose and half-practice fields, as well as work related to the isolation room in the nurses' suite. We recommended for approval a change order with Rockport Construction to add ADA bleacher seating during the for the previously approved restoration of the Arnold Field bleachers. The ADA seating was quoted separately with multiple vendors, and Rockport's original bid of $108,000 was the lowest bid received. We received a project update on the construction of the new middle school. Steel erection continues, and the first section of roofing is complete. There are some significant change orders, being asked for in today's meeting, and hopefully approved this month. But the project continues to track more than $11 million under the original construction estimate, and the scope of the change orders is within typical range for this type of construction project. Ongoing slow steel deliveries have added several weeks to the previous delay due to the steel fabricator shutdown due to COVID, putting the project a total of about 6 weeks behind schedule. Several options are being considered for resequencing, but recapturing time may require overtime by several contractors. The next Facilities and Purchasing Committee meeting will be on Thursday, June 10th, 2021 at 8:30 a.m. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Lee. Now we will have audience recognition. Ms. LaPera, do we have any in-person comments for tonight's meeting?
Yes, Ms. Jenkins.
Great. Also at this time, we'll open the chat for about another 5 minutes for additional public comment in the chat while Ms. Jenkins is speaking.
I came because last week my chat didn't work. Something was wrong with the thing. I was wondering if there was an award for 35 years of coming to these meetings. I guess not. Should I keep my mask on? Okay. After the Black Lives Matter group demonstrations, a community organization was formed for anti-racist and equity. And I was part of that committee, community committee, and my job was to identify what was going on with equity and anti-racism in the schools, in our Lower Merion school system. And I reached out to Mr. Mooring for a document of that subject. And I got a piece of paper half filled with some policy on it that was vague. So the first time I requested the anti-racist policy of Lower Merion School District, I received from Mr. Mooring a half-page document that barely mentioned anti-racism actions or solutions. So I commend the committee and the committees and the community that participated in this development of the new document. It has not been an easy task. Hopefully the policy, which is not yet available to the community, we haven't seen it, is it posted? Okay, good.
It's on board docs.
It wasn't, at the last equity meeting, it wasn't available, so hopefully it's available now. Will be the start of a continuous dialogue between the school, the parents, the students, and the educators. I also have attended several Zoom meetings regarding the search for a new superintendent, and it would be transparent to have the comments collated and made available so we can know what certain decisions were made based on what characteristics. Thank you.
Thank you, Ms. Jenkins.
I have to respond to that if you're not going to respond. May I respond to this?
Yes, go ahead.
Okay, so Ms. Jenkins, first of all, there will be a report to the community and the board around the search process. So I just want to say that. And secondly, I really want to take exception to your view that our anti-racism work was a half a page prior to the Black Lives Matter movement, okay? There has been a committee called CARE, the Committee on Racial Equity. There's been a huge focus on cultural proficiency and diversifying the curriculum and ensuring that all children have access to all of the different programs we have. Our superintendent, Bob Copeland, was hired in part because of his expertise on dealing with achievement gaps and opportunities as in terms of being able to implement change. He created an achievement imperative task force in addition to CARE to be the operating arm of CARE, which included everything from reviewing the curriculum to changing the way in which we think about discipline. I think it's the right word, right? So we've been, Mr. Copeland has been leading this effort. The effort began before Mr. Copeland, but Mr. Copeland has definitely exceeded our expectations in that matter. And it is wonderful that the Black Lives Movement is pushing us further so that there is an actual equity policy, which is now becoming so across the state. School districts are doing that. Prior to the Black Lives Movement, Superintendent Copeland had already started an equity audit and looking at those issues. So I just want to be very clear, and I want to commend Superintendent Copeland, who is also the first African-American superintendent in this district, that anti-racism has been at the core of what he has done over his superintendency.
I just want to respond a little bit because the community...
I'm sorry, Ms. Jenkins.
Okay, there's no response? Okay.
Sorry, I can talk to you afterwards.
Do you want to put your...
I'd be happy to talk with you afterwards if you'd like.
Thank you. So, Mr. Roos, can you please read any public comments that were submitted via the chat feature?
Yes, can you hear me okay? Alexandra O'Neill, Wynwood. Since Pfizer announced they will not be applying for FDA approval of the vaccine for children 11 and younger until September, will the district consider having an LMSD at home option, particularly for elementary and 6th grade, since children will not yet be able to be vaccinated? I'm hoping that the district uses what it has learned in the past year and the time we have now to explore how we can provide a safe and equitable education for all children in the district.
At this time, our at-home program will look more like the LMVA, and it will be primarily asynchronous.
Thank you, Mr. Okay, thank you. So there was one public comment via the chat. We're going to move forward with approving tonight's agenda via consent. However, first, prior to doing that, we'd like to take a moment and read the equity policy. I just want to point out that there's no actual board action on the equity policy tonight. This is just a first reading. The equity policy will be discussed again at the June 4th, make sure I have that date right, on the next policy committee meeting, right, which is on Friday, June 4th. So I'm going to turn it over to Mr. Mooring.
Thank you. So 101 equity is the number on the policy, and reads the purpose. The Lower Merion School District is committed to provide a safe, supportive, and inclusive learning environment for all people. The district is also dedicated to ensuring that all students and employees have equitable access to the district's educational programs and activities. The educational equity is a shared commitment to ensure that every student gets what they need to be successful. Practicing equity in this district means understanding the needs of individuals and positioning resources, including funding, programs, policies, initiatives, and supports to target people's unique experiences and provide for individual needs so that achievement and opportunity gaps are eliminated on personal and systemic levels. Equity is distinct from equality. Equality entitles everyone gets the same. Equity requires that individuals get what they need. This policy reflects the district's commitment to ensuring students, employees, or families who may have historically experienced opportunity or achievement gaps due to race, color, ethnicity, national origin, language, immigration status, sex assigned at birth, sexual orientation, gender identity, gender expression, disability, creed, or religion no longer encounter barriers. In light of social and historical context, this policy provides explicit permission to treat people differently when circumstances necessitate that something different needs to be done. The value of equity is that the entire community benefits when individuals get what they need. This policy reflects the board's support in ensuring equity for all individuals in the district. The board authorizes the superintendent or their designee to develop and promulgate regulations designed to ensure that structural barriers are confronted and dismantled in service of meeting the needs of all individuals. The board's equity statement, highlighted above, shall serve as the foundational structure upon which all aspects of the district's educational system are built and maintained. To this end, the board is committed to ensuring that every student has access to equitable experience within the district by adopting policies, procedures, and practices to 1, dismantle institutional barriers that perpetuate inequitable outcomes, and 2, promote access and opportunities that benefit every student. The board is committed to using quantitative and qualitative disaggregated district, building level, and individual student data to 1, direct the superintendent and/or designee to identify and remove institutional barriers that result in achievement and/or opportunity gaps for students, and 2, implement policies, practices, and procedures that ensure students' educational success is neither predetermined or predicted by factors such as students' race, ethnicity, gender, sexual orientation, student with identified disabilities, individual learning needs, social or economic status, or other identity-related factors. There's also a list of definitions and glossary and other relevant terms. I'll read the terms, but not the definitions. You can read those on the website. Achievement gaps, anti-racist and anti-racism, cultural competency, cultural proficiency, cultural responsive, equitable resources, equity, equity lens, ethnicity, explicit bias, implicit bias, inclusion, institutional barriers, institutional racism, intersectionality, microaggression, opportunity gaps, prejudice, privilege, race, racism, structural racism, and yes. That's it.
Thank you, Mr. Mooring. I just want to remind everyone or reiterate again that this was a first reading, so that at the next policy committee meeting on June 4th, this will be discussed in more depth. I also want to remind everyone that on the Lmsb website, there's an entire equity page, sort of portion to the website with a lot of links to sort of do some more deep dives into the ongoing work throughout the district. So moving forward with the agenda via consent, are there any questions from the board? Do I have a motion to approve tonight's agenda via consent?
So moved.
Second.
You beat me to it.
Sorry.
Second. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Any abstentions? The motion passes. Mr. Roos, can you please give us a report on the Sunshine Act?
Yes, the board met in executive session on May 10th, last Monday, and to discuss land use litigation. There was no executive session prior to the meeting tonight.
Thank you, Mr. Roos. Just to give you an update on the upcoming meeting dates, our next regular business board meeting will be at 8 p.m. on Monday, June 14th. As mentioned earlier, our regular business board meetings continue throughout the summer. Once a month, they will be in person at 8 p.m. Committee meetings generally start at 8:30 a.m. via Zoom unless otherwise noted. On Wednesday, May 19th is the Communications Committee meeting. That one is at 7 p.m. May 24th, next Monday, is the Ad Hoc Superintendent Search meeting. That will be at 7 p.m. via Zoom. And at that meeting, as I had mentioned in the past, it will be a summary of the public sessions, the information stakeholder sessions, and the online survey. On Friday, June 4th, is the Policy Committee meeting, 8:30 a.m. via Zoom. Again, among other policies that will also be discussed will be the equity policy. And then on June 10th at 8:30 is the Facilities and Purchasing meeting. There being no other business and no upcoming ISC or CSE events that I know of, this meeting is adjourned.